So today we're breaking down the sales call. I've got a live call here from one of our agents that happened only a few days ago where he burnt the lead, right? So if you're a sales manager, a sales supervisor, a team leader, or you're a sales agent yourself, this will be of interest to you as we dissect everything in the call based on framework. So thank you for joining. All right, so we're gonna break down the sales call and we're gonna do it on the basis of this document. So this is framework that I wrote, which is on version 97. This has been iterated 97 times to get it right. This sales script has turned over $100 million in revenue in sales over the last few years. So it works, right? So if you're a sales manager or a sales agent, what you need to do is you need to work against framework, right? Framework is a defined strategy based on historical information that is successful, all right? So that's what this document is built on. So if you're a sales agent or a sales manager, what you should do is have framework inside the team to give the team structure and leverage, right? Alternatively, if you don't do that, what happens is you'll have a whole bunch of salespeople on the sales floor who are doing everything differently. So what happens in that regard is that your customer suffers because there's no congruency or synergy with delivering the product in a way that the customer understands it. Because everyone's saying different things, different words, in different order, in different sequences, and it's too hard to manage. In fact, it's unmanageable. As a sales manager or a sales agent, it's just completely unmanageable when everyone does everything differently. So it has to come into a framework. Can you breach the integrity of the framework? No. But can you paraphrase the scripting that sits upon the framework? Yes, you can. But my advice to sales managers and sales agents is that you stick on point for at least 3 months. And then once you've learned the product in alignment with the scripting that sits upon the framework, then you can diversify. Until then, don't do it. It'll cost you money. Now, this is the call we're going to dissect today. It's for our education training brand. It's an online training company delivering programs to the construction sector, so construction professionals, all those looking to get into the construction sector. Right, the avatar is, normally around 26 to 34 years old, trade qualified, so they're a tradie, or they're someone looking to get into the construction sector in Australia, right? So I'm going to break down one of those leads that came in only this week. The average deal price for this particular lead is about $8,000, so it's a high-ticket item, classed as a high-ticket item. And I've got a call from one of the agents here who shall remain nameless. And I'm going to break down the actual physical call in alignment with this document. Before I do that, what I want to do is I'm just going to quickly run through the framework. So the framework for this particular company for TechSkill is the introduction, agenda, discovery, presentation, delivery, and then the close. So there's 6 elements to the framework. And it's so critical if you understand human psychology, even human biology, is that we think in chunks, right? Human beings have to think in terms of iterations. Mobile numbers, for example, 0403, 486, 487. There's 3 chunks in that sequence of information or data, right? It's easier to remember that when it's broken into iterations and everything is thrown at you at once. Now here's the thing, you should test this. If you gave them the number in full sequence or gave a person a number in full sequence without any breaks or any chunking, they won't remember it. They'll 3 to 10x it if you break it down into smaller iterations. That's what framework does in sales. Like the introduction and the agenda are 2 different things. And then when you train it as 2 different things. And then it comes together. It's called transition, right? So then discovery, that's a separate thing. But you have to learn discovery, but you can't do discovery without setting the agenda, because if you don't set the agenda, you don't have control of the call. If you don't have control of the call, when you go to do discovery, it's all a little bit messy. You've got a presentation, right? If you don't set an agenda and do a discovery, you don't know what to present. Because you should present the information to the client based on what the client wants to know, right? If you were to do a close, you should close the person on the discovery and onboard them into the product based on what they want to achieve. Now, you should always think about the customer. I just spoke to the sales team this morning. I said, look, is that we need to refine what we do on the basis of servicing our clients. Like, that has to come first. You shouldn't, you can make money in sales, don't get me wrong, but your initial mindset should be to serve your customer. Because if you serve your customer, they will reward you with referrals, and it'll just feel good, right? Like, and you'll close more deals and you'll help more people. And I always say, if you have a product that can help people, we should really, really push that product, you know? We're not selling methamphetamines to teenage children. Is that too much? That might be too much. You know, we're selling education to people to help them create prosperity for themselves and their families, right? Like, that's pretty important. And I think that's pretty cool. So I really get behind an education product that can help people. So we probably have an obligation, well, not probably, we do have an obligation that if they inquire about something, to deliver that in a way that will create value in their lives personally, right? So, and we should be proud of that, and we should have the confidence to be able to sell that product with trust and assurance to the customer, right? So first and foremost, that's pretty important. So how do we help our agents deliver a product that can help people? Framework. So I really want to stress that, right? So I'm going to start listening to the call. So when I put this call on, I want to focus on two things in the first instance: introduction and agenda. So critical. So let me read this out. So the introduction for a sales agent calling a lead that's coming to the CRM, mostly from Meta and Google, that's what we do. And they're calling the customer for the first time, for the very first time. When you do that, there's a couple of things you need to understand. Is that this is not a face-to-face meeting, so they can't see you, right? So the only tool that you have at your disposal is the voice, the tone, and the words that you use. So you should be very conscious about that. And I think most people are not. And everyone hears things differently. All humans are different, right? So whether you're speaking to a 24-year-old single mother, a 34-year-old, you know, a father, single father of 3, or a family man who's 46, who's got 4 children, right? Married with 2 mortgages, investment property. Like, they're all different. Everyone's different. And what that means is they're different because of social influence and, you know, where they were raised and all these sorts of things. I won't go into that. But so what it means is they hear things differently. But there are some key categories that are foundational. Is we retain information in chunks, right? Or what I call iterations. It needs to be delivered at a level that we can understand. I always say to the agents, deliver information at a grade 10 level, because people who are highly educated or not highly educated can understand it. It covers both camps. So don't try and be too fancy. No one wants to know how smart you are. No one is interested in that. What they want to know is the information they want to know. So you need to get to that pretty quickly, and you need to deliver it in a way that sounds like a professional and sounds like an expert. Like, I can't stress that enough. I always say, don't ask the customer what they want, tell them what they need. And the reason that you should do that is because you are the expert. And if you don't believe you're the expert, you're never going to be a successful salesperson. And the byproduct of that is the confidence in that statement comes from product knowledge, not from sales. Oh shit, that's weird, Lawrence. It's true. It comes from product knowledge, not sales. Everyone wants to be a salesperson. It's such bullshit. You know, and they're listening to, you know, Andy Elliott and Grant Cardone and all these guys. And those guys are cool, don't get me wrong. And there's something to learn from those guys. But if you're really good at sales and you know nothing about your product, you won't be successful. Because the customer isn't calling you to say, God, I hope this guy's really good at sales. That's weird, right? That makes no sense. No, what they're calling you about is, wow, I want to know about the course. I want to know about the product. I want to know about the house. I want to know about the car. I want to know about the insurance policy. They don't give a shit whether you're good at selling or not. But yet every agent puts all their time into sales and nothing into product knowledge. So a byproduct of today's session is, I want you to consider that. I want you to think about product knowledge and how good is it? Because here's the thing, the amount of money that you earn will not come from your sales skills, but will come from your product skills. Because your product skills will give you the confidence to sell well. Your product knowledge will give you the confidence to sell well. But if you think about it, think about a doctor, right? You do everything the doctor tells you to do. Now, when you go to the doctor and he says, I need you to take the script down to the chemist right now and I need you to get this. What do? You do it. You know, when the doctor gives you advice on what you should do, you do it. The dentist, you do it. The lawyer, you do it. Why? Because they're elevated in a position of excellence. You know, I know the industry dictates that, but when you speak to them, they sound like an expert. Why? Because they know their stuff. So we're selling courses, right? We sell accredited programs to people who are moving towards prosperity, whatever that means to them. We are there to help them on that journey. So we need to know everything about our product and how we can align it to their goal. And if we don't know that, we can't help anybody. And as a sales agent, you'll go broke, because what you're trying to do is use dodgy tactics to customers, and they can see it coming from a mile away. And we should never do that, because it's unethical. We should sell them products that will help them, but to be able to define that, you need to learn the product very well. So I just want to point that out before we dive into this call. So get that foundational principle right for who you are as a person, how you deliver the product, how you deliver yourself to a customer, what you say to a customer, the words you use, the tonality, the intonation, the tone, the speed, right? Like, that's all part of it. You know, agents are normally rambling pretty fast, and they're all a little bit nervous. If you have product knowledge and you're so good at your product, that'll go away. Okay, cool, we're gonna get into it. So again, this is a live sales call by one of our agents that did not happen not that long ago. Where's the date? Oh, I don't have a date on this. It doesn't give me a date. So in our metrics here, the agent spoke for 64% of the call, and the customer spoke for 36% of the call. What's wrong with that? And this is the first call, which is introduction, agenda, and discovery. Those three key things you have to get in on the first call. And the agent spoke for 64% of the time. That tells me that he's in the wrong position on the call, because the agent should be at 36 and the customer should be at 64. In fact, the agent should be at 12 to 15% and the customer should occupy 75. So I know from looking at the metrics in the system in the SaaS platform that we're a little bit off already. Okay, it gives us some of the key topics. By the way, if you're a sales company and a sales manager and a sales agent, you've got to look at your metrics. So this was for an advanced diploma in building construction. It's giving me those details. They spoke about the customer asked for key topics like course details, payment options, and government funding. All right, so it's giving me some of the key criteria. And the mood that the system is rated as passive. All right, so I'm going to dive into it. And again, I'm focusing on our company framework and align with the call. So let's press play and see what happens. Okay.
Hello. G'day, Starbucks. Nick from Tech Skill Academy. How you doing, mate?
Oh, good. Thank you. Good.
Good, mate. It was just a quick one. We got your inquiry just around the advanced diploma of building and construction the other day. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. It's in New South Wales, right?
Well, we are based in Toowong in Brisbane, but we do service the whole country if you are looking for a bit of training. Are you, I guess, obviously we've sort of called each other a bit out of the blue. Do you, mate?
Pause. There's so many things in that. So many things. You know, like, so the first thing I'll talk about is tone. I think the tone's off. Right? I just think the tone of the agent's not quite right. It's not sort of, I don't know, it doesn't feel like I'm speaking to the right person. You should think about that. Like, I call it the matrix, right? When I'm talking to someone on the phone and I know they can't help me, I always think, oh shit, I'm stuck in the matrix. And I need to get out of the matrix. And the only way I can get out of the matrix is to hang the phone up, like click the little button, then I'm out of the matrix. Because I'm talking to someone who can't help me, who is expiring my valuable time, and time is valuable, and I'm not going to get the result. So I could be on the phone for 10 minutes and still not get the result. So when you're calling your customer, they need to hear you be the expert, and tonality is really the only way that you can do that. And precision and conviction. Conviction is pretty powerful. So try and have conviction when you enter the call. There's a lot of ambiguity in the words that are being used, right? If I go back 10 seconds, listen to this.
Based in Toowong in Brisbane, but
he doesn't need to know where we are. Because he said, do you guys do New South Wales? He should have just went, yes. Yeah, we do. That's it. So the narrative is there, is say less, but be more precise, right? With conviction.
Do service the whole country if you are looking for a bit of training.
He's not in the whole country. Like, you don't need to say that. Just say yeah. And this is the thing. You should say yes and no sometimes. Or go, that's correct. Sure, yes, we do that. 100% that's correct. Yes, that's right. No, we don't do that. Like, that's what you need to do. So, just think about precision when you're on the call with the customer, because what happens is you get to a talk ratio of 64% over the customer at 36, because there's too much verbiage, too many words coming out. So listen to this.
I guess, obviously, we've sort of called each other a bit out of the blue.
Yes, obviously, we've sort of called each other a little bit out of the blue. See what I mean? No precision. There's no confidence in that. No conviction. Absolutely no conviction. We've sort of obviously called each other a little bit out of the blue. What does that even mean? He hasn't called you. You've called him out of the blue. Right? So don't say that. Again, precision and conviction. Right, this is what the script dictates. Hi, Lawrence calling from X. How you going today? They reply, good. Great. You sent through an inquiry about this, and I'm calling to follow you up on that. Do you have 1 minute to chat now? Now, they'd say yes or no, right? 99% of the time they say yeah, because they sent through their inquiry. We're not cold calling people. Now, I've delivered that in 5 seconds. We're at 43 seconds, and we sort of kind of called each other out of the blue. So when you break your call down, like, be very specific about how you deliver your words and the conviction and the intelligence and the tonality in which you do so. Now, this may seem pretty critical, right? But it's not, because this is what generates revenue and this is how we help people, right? The company needs to make money. Without money is the bloodline for the agent to remunerate themselves to support their families. The program can help this guy increase his income, and I think that's what he wants to do, because he's come from another country and he's trying to figure it out, and no one's giving him an interview, right? So I think the narrative is that for this call. So we should apply ourselves well to it, right? Because we can help this guy, and I don't think we did. But so anyway, I'll continue with the call.
Maybe 10, 15 minutes on you, mate. Just have a chat around it, or...
What does the script say? Do you have a minute to talk about that now? What did that say? What did that agent say? Do you have 10 to 15 minutes to talk about that now? Now, hey, if you call me out of the blue and want 15 minutes of my time, it's a no. If you call me out of the blue and you say to me, you sent me the inquiry, I'm just calling to follow up, do you have a minute to chat about it? I'm just going to be more accepting of that. Hey, a minute's okay. I'll give you a minute. Well, because I contacted you, I'll give you a minute. I'm not going to give you 15 minutes. Like, I think 15 minutes 20 years ago was nothing. 15 minutes now seems like an hour to a person. So you got to understand the dynamic of the market. Everyone is busier than the president. Everyone is busier than the president. That's how they think. That's psychology now. That's a sensitivity of the market and your customer. When you say 15 minutes, what they hear is an hour. So this is precision, right? When I talk about precision, the script says, do you have a minute to talk about that now? The agent said, do you have 10 or 15 minutes on you now? Right? Listen to what the customer does next.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah. That's fine. So if I was to ask you, what do you think that means? 90% of people are going to say, oh yeah, he's fine. No, he's not. What he's saying to you is, no, I don't have that time on me. I don't. I wonder if he would have said something different. It was, hey, just light, do you have a minute to chat now? Whether he would have just went, yeah, I do. Now, 10 or 15 minutes, he's gone, yeah. Yeah. That tells me that he doesn't. So see the difference. All I'm talking about is precision here. So keep it short, keep it to the point, follow the script, and be in control of the call, right? So let's continue with it. We're 52 seconds into it, by the way, and we haven't done a proper introduction, right? The tone's a little bit off. We've jumped off script. We haven't identified ourselves as clearly as what we should have. And we've asked him for 10 to 15 minutes of his time, which is against the rules. So if you're a sales manager, you should be hearing this if you're auditing calls. If you're not auditing calls, you should be auditing calls, because it's all about auditing calls, because that's a whole epicenter of the job, right? So we're 52 seconds in. I'll continue.
Okay. Well, look, I guess the first question around it, always a qualification like the advanced diploma. What was the sort of interest with that one, mate? How can we?
See all the ambiguity and all the uncertainty around the conversation? Like, if I went back 10 seconds, let me play that again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I guess the first question.
I guess the first question
around it, always a qualification.
And around always a qualification.
Like the advanced diploma.
Like the advanced diploma.
What was the sort of?
What was the sort of
interest with that one, mate?
Interest with that one, mate. Man, I tell you, precision. Customers hear it, right? Like, you won't hear it because you probably pitch it every day, whatever your product may be: insurance, cars, houses, finance, investment. Is what it says here. So, so can I ask, why did you send through the inquiry? What are you looking to achieve? That's it. It's clear, it's concise, everyone is going to understand it, and it's at a grade 10 level. So can I ask, so we're asking for permission, why did you send through the inquiry? You sent through the inquiry, I'm making you aware of that. What are you looking to achieve? Because I don't need to know why they inquired about that program, because that could be the wrong one. I need to pivot them somewhere else. I just need to know what you're looking to achieve. And then what they'll say is, oh, I'm looking to achieve this. All right, so again, we're over a minute in, and if I was to deliver everything that's in this call, I would have done it in under 10 seconds. So we've gone from 10 seconds to a minute. That makes me 90% more efficient than the way that this was delivered, with 100% more clarity and 100% more conviction and 100% more precision. Who's going to win the game? Like, who's going to make more money than this guy? I am. And I'm only this is 1 minute. Imagine if this continued for the whole 8 minutes of the call, which it sort of does. So you got to conceptualize, like, if you want to be good or you want to be great and you want to be a high net worth individual in sales and be super successful, you have to focus on the detail. The detail is where it is at, because you're not meeting them face to face, so you can't use visual cues, and your good looks and your charm are not going to get you anywhere, because the only thing that you have as a tool is your voice, intonation, tonality, timing, speed, cadence, right? So this is phone sales 101.
We help.
Actually, I already have civil engineering back from my country, and just now looking for something to get some qualification from Australia.
Cool. So he's identified his issue. We don't know why yet, but look, he's an immigrant. He's coming from another country. English is probably a second language, right? Very hard lead to deal with, but I think, man, we can definitely help this guy. So I think respecting that as a sales agent, as a team, as a sales manager, respecting these types of customers is critically important, because we can help this guy. I can sort of sense it already. I could help this guy if this was me on the call. So when you identify that, you have to identify where they're at in the funnel, right? Top, middle, or at the bottom of the funnel. This guy seems to be at the top of the funnel for me. And the reason how I can determine that are my pre-qualification questions that I have here in this document, which should be asked every single time. Were they asked in this call? No, they were not. So you can't make a determination on where the customer's at. We'll see. Well, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. I don't think it happened.
To be a little bit flexible for jobs here, because I am applying, but I haven't received any good news for the jobs.
This is the perfect client, right? So he's come to us. We're an education company who deliver all the flexibility to people, and he's been applying for jobs. He's a civil engineer, so he's intelligent. He's looking for support and help. He's applying for jobs and not getting any interviews. That's what he just told me. I can help this guy. which means I can sell him a product that can help him. And in return, I can get remunerated as a sales agent in terms of commissions, right? And that's what the company employs our agents to do. Now we have to pre-qualify the customer right now. Like, this is just how you do it. You've got to pre-qualify the customer. I have 3 questions in here that I wrote inside the script that our agent should ask for this particular product. We have other products, so those products in other companies are different questions, right? What are you looking to achieve is the same question for any product, whether you're selling ETFs, real estate over the phone, trying to book appointments for inspections, if you're selling services, whatever it may be, what are you looking to achieve is always the same for me. I don't care what product it is, right? So, but now I've got I understand that, okay, here's my thing. They're from another country. They've inquired about an education product. They're a civil engineer, so they've gone to university. He's struggling finding work. So now I need to dig deep on that, right? And I can help him. I can help him transition from a civil engineer qualification from another country, get that qualification and move that into an opportunity in Australia, because that's what I get paid for. And I can definitely help this guy. So I'm going to plant seeds. I'm going to say to him, that's great. I can definitely help you on the call today. That's it. And then I'm going to go into my pre-qualification questions. Now let's see if this agent does that. So we have to pre-qualify him. So let's see if he does it.
Here it may get a sort of formalised Australian qualification. So if you've got a civil engineering degree, what sort of scope of what's the word I'm looking for? Scope of work? So what type of construction are you wanting to ideally do?
Okay, wrong question. Way off. This question he's asked is on another suburb. So right now the agent's lost control of the call. You got to control at least the first 60 seconds. Now we're 2 minutes and 14 in, but he should still be in the 60-second component. The agent's really gone off track here. So you gotta control the call. You have to be in control. So how you do that is by setting an agenda, which is what should be happening about now. Actually, it should have happened about 40 seconds ago. He should have set an agenda, and he hasn't done that yet. That means the call's gonna start, it's gonna be Bambi wandering through the forest, man. Aimlessly, sun shining in the eyes, and Bambi's just running through the forest. And then what happens, all the trees, it doesn't see the big cliff off the end, and then Bambi falls off it and just smashes all over the rocks. Is that too much? But that's what happens, right? Because what you're doing to the customer is he has no pathway to walk down. Because remember chunking, go back to that first thing I said. It's got to be done sequentially, and it's got to be done in iterations, right? Introduction, short discovery, set the agenda, move back to the discovery at a deeper level. Like, that's just how it sort of works. And the agent's all over the place at the moment.
Hydraulic structure or roads or infrastructure, not doing these things. No, only buildings.
Only buildings. And yeah, sorry, I'll rephrase the question. So
now he's got to rephrase the question.
Types of building and construction qualifications. So Cert 4 diploma and advanced diploma.
So the agent's making this technical, right? But really what it's about, he hasn't heard it, he's not listening, is that the customer is seeking employment, then they're trying to figure that out. It's not really about the product yet. It's just about, he wants to have assurance with the sales agent that, you've definitely come to the right place. I can definitely help you with that. We work with lots of people who are looking to move and transition into the Australian workforce. That's what we do. It's my job. And what happens to the customer, man? He's got all this confidence in you. And that is what we do. So I don't know why you would not say that. I think agents just sort of get into their own head and they just think, I know everything, and they make it technical because they think that technicality and being technical to a customer shows the customer that you know the product really well and you're really intelligent and you're an expert. What an expert will do is listen and deliver solutions, and those solutions should end in results, right? So let's get to that definition of what sales is all about. I'll continue to play the call.
Each qualification aligns with a different type of construction. So
the customer's listening.
So I've got two
Totally
stories.
confused right now.
Diploma is more medium rise and commercial, so
Right,
4
so-
stories, and then open is anything 4 stories above. So like, you know, the 60-story apartment towers, those type of things.
Yeah, it's
Out
crazy.
of those sort of 3,
He doesn't really know what's
where
going
would
on
you,
right now.
ideally want to work?
So we're asking the customer, so the last bit that the agent did, where do you want to work? That should have been said a minute and a half ago, and it should have been, and that should be answered in, if he set the agenda correctly. So why did you send through the inquiry? What are you looking to achieve exactly? Oh, I'm looking to get a job. That's basically what he said. And the agent would organically should say, what sort of job are you looking for? Like, how hard is that? It's super simple. Well, I'm an engineer and I'd like to get a job in construction, but I'm not too sure what sort of job I could get. Great. Thank you for that information. I can definitely help you with that. Have you done any research about the program? Are you looking to start sooner after some general information? You told me you've got a civil construction degree. When did you get that completed and where did you do that? Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you for that. See what I'm doing? I'm controlling the call. I'm controlling the call, putting in a little box, and I'm in control of the call. So, man, I haven't even got past the first page. Like this episode could go on for 3 hours. So what I'm doing is saying, if we just go through the first part, extrapolate that out through everything you do, all the way through to discovery, all the way through to the close, across maybe 2 or 3 appointments. So I'm trying to get to the narrative here, and it's always the same thing. Keep it simple. Listen, tonality, the words you use. Don't be too smart for your own boots, man. Talk at a grade 10 level. Find out how you can help the customer and tell them that you can definitely help them. You know what I mean? So hear their sensitivities, their concern, and their worries. This guy, he just wants to find a job. And we're talking technically about levels of buildings in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. He's going, what? He doesn't know what the hell's going on. So he's just confused, right? So we'll put ourselves in the customer in a pretty bad position.
The commercial will be better. It's come in the advanced diploma, the commercial.
No, so that's diploma. So the diploma has residential and commercial elements to it. So it'll teach you everything up to 4 stories. Yeah, so that's it seems like that's the sort of area you're wanting to go.
Is that sort of the area you're wanting to go? Like, you know, you're just not there yet. Like, you shouldn't even be having that conversation because you haven't done a discovery. You're trying to figure out answers to a question by asking them directly. But if you haven't done a discovery and listened to them, they'll give you all the answers you want without asking the question. Like, you know, so, and you have to, he is uneducated about how it works. So asking him a technical direct question will give you a response that's not true because they don't have the information in the first place to make an acquired decision. And that's a failure of most agents, is that you've got to understand where your customer's at in terms of the cycle of the deal, right? This guy's at the top of the funnel. You're asking him technical questions about what he wants, but he doesn't know what he wants. So the answer that you're going to get is going to be misleading. And he's not even sure that he's giving you the right answer. So if you hone in on that, he's going to freak out because he's going, hang on a minute, I called you for help, but I told you what I want. It's like going to the doctor and telling the doctor what to prescribe you. And you've done your own diagnostics, right? Doc, I tell you what, I've got a temperature of X. This is what you need to prescribe me. And then I think I should see you next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And the doctor goes, okay, great, here. Like, that doesn't happen, like, seriously. So listen, he hasn't listened to the customer, which is unfortunate, which means I guarantee you this guy's what I would define as being burnt already. And what that means is we haven't serviced them, so they're not interested in us. Now, the worst thing that he could do is talk more, do no discovery, send him information and not book an appointment to follow up. That would be the worst thing he could do. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, but what about the advanced diploma? It's something different?
Yeah, so the advanced diploma, it's specifically around open class construction.
So he's in a conversation with him now, technically, right? And he's lost control of the call.
Builders, like
when you set an agenda, what you're doing is controlling the call. Because if you say to them, what I'll do on the call is I'm going to answer all your questions that you may have. I'll run through the program in a little bit more detail and tell you how we deliver it and how it works. And then we'll talk about cost and payment options. I guarantee you that the customer won't ask you about how much it costs in the next 5 minutes. Because you've told them you're going to get to it. So that's assuming control of the call, not in a negative way, in a positive way, because again, there has to be sequential structure to the call. It has to be done in order. You have to find out what the problem is, right? Present some potential solutions and then move them through the call. You can't talk about all the technical stuff in a presentation component at the start of the call. It doesn't make any sense. Psychologically, it'll create confusion with the customer because it's not done sequentially, and that's just how humans think, right? Sometimes you can't get the answer to question 2 until you answer question 1 because question 2 makes no sense without that information, right? Think about an algorithm, that's essentially what it is.
Okay, that's great. So that one could be better for me because I already have experience in work in one of those 2 or 3, so up to 6.
Yeah, the customer doesn't know what he wants, even though they said that. They just don't. Right?
Now, a question I do have to ask as well, mate.
So what he's done, he hasn't advised the customer what to purchase. He's pushed the customer to make a decision so he can sell them something. That's not cool, dude. It's not cool, man. Like that's not servicing the customer. Like the customer said, oh yeah, that's the one to do. Why? Because you pushed him in that direction. And you don't even know why he wants to do it. Makes no sense to me. So it's a pretty bad call. And I feel sorry for the customer. So anyway, let's continue.
You mentioned you're sort of new to Australia. Each company has visa restrictions. What sort of visa would you be on? Do you obviously got work rights?
Yeah. I have PR, refugee PR. So
So now he's qualifying him to try and close him. Like you can just hear it. Because you shouldn't be asking that question now. Not yet. Because even if he wasn't a permanent resident, we could still help him. Because, we sell our programs all over the world. So, we'll continue to play it.
No, I have to ask about certain visas, like working holiday and students, we can't facilitate them. So, PR's all good. Yeah. Look, well, with the advanced diploma, there's definitely a lot of information I could run through about the course. Is there anything sort of specifically you want to know? I can make sure I cover that off as well.
Yeah, so he's trying to set an agenda and get into the information about the program. Look, cool, no harm, no foul, but that should have been done 4 minutes ago. Because here's the deal. So can I ask, why did you send through your inquiry? What are you looking to achieve? I'm looking for a job. I'm a civil engineer, come from another country. I'm going for interviews. I'm not getting anywhere. Great, I can definitely help you with that. So can I ask, have you done any research about the program? No, I have not. Top of the funnel. Are you looking to start soon? Or just some general information? I'm looking to start soon. Ooh, it's moved down. So you mentioned the civil construction degree. Can I ask, where did you do that? And when did you do that? I did it in New Delhi and I did it 7 years ago. Okay, great. So you just got a little bit of context to start the next part of the conversation. Great. Hey, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. What I'd like to do on the call today, I'll answer all your questions. I'll run through the program, including delivery options, and then we can start discuss cost and payment options. How does that sound? They give you authority. Yeah, that sounds good. Great. Hey, it's only going to be about 5 or 10 minutes, but if you need to break away from the call, I want to be respectful of your time. Let me know, and then I'll book in a follow-up call with you. Great. That's it. So everything is in there. You've lined the call up, you've set the agenda, you know why they've inquired, and you've showed them a little bit of respect by saying, look, I've called you out of the blue. Didn't have a booked appointment. I want to be respectful of that. If you can't do it now or you need to get off the phone, let me know, and I'm happy to follow up with you. None of that has happened on this call. Okay, so let's see where it goes.
Okay, it's mostly I'm concerned about the financial part since I'm new here, so I'm looking for something that is government funded, that's loan based, that's something that can easily afford it. So can you tell me about how can it support it?
Okay, so this guy's looking for government funding. We don't do that. That doesn't mean to say that you cannot help this guy. That tells me that he's got a financial problem, right? So now I know in my head that I have to structure the call in a way and pre-qualify him up about cost as soon as possible, right? So let's see what happens.
Look, mate, is there government funding out there for this course? 100% there is.
What? Is there? Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know if that's accurate. But you should never say that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, someone calls up to buy the Lamborghini, right? And they go, oh, can I get the same Lamborghini somewhere else for less price? You go, 100% absolutely you can do that, but, and then you start talking. What's the customer gonna do? Oh, well, why am I talking to you? Like, so, you know, you shouldn't say that. So, you don't know whether they're eligible, you don't know all this information because you haven't done a discovery call, so you're lacking data, right?
Can a training provider accept that funding? 100% no, just because of the massive benefits it has to our student base. So if affordability is what you're after, I guess a question I have is, would $40 a week sort of stretch the budget too far?
$40 per week?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so it's not government funded means.
No.
So it's funny, right? Everything he said about government funding, he didn't hear it. So this is why it's so important to talk slowly and at a grade 10 level, because he didn't hear it, the customer didn't hear it. So he's asked him the exact same question. So we asked him, is it government funded? The agent said a whole bunch of stuff. And then after he stopped talking, he said, so it's not government funded? What does that tell you? He's not understanding the conversation. Right? So you have to calibrate as you go through the call, right? Like you want to stop dead in your tracks and just hone in on financial viability of the customer's ability to pay. Right? I say things like, look, I guarantee I can find a payment plan that'll fit your budget. You know, things like, look, I don't want you to step outside your means, but I think this is really important. If we can get this done and you can find the job that you need with an increase of $30,000 a year, I think that's going to be really beneficial to you and your family. But let's figure out how we do that. So let's talk about how much it costs and what affordability you have right now. So I'm slowing the customer down because I've identified a concern and I need to overcome that concern before I move forward with the call. Because if he doesn't have any money and we don't have any, and it's not free, I can't help him. But I'll stay on the call for 10 minutes trying to figure out a budget that works for him and show him the importance and the result of getting on board.
No government funding from us.
I'm going to forward through a little bit.
The entire duration of the course, which is 12 months. Are you talking about the course itself?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So I can tell.
We'll have to, stay on for the entire duration of the course, which is 12 months.
I can tell that the agent, what they've done is they've moved forward and he hasn't found a resolution about money.
Government funded means.
Listen.
No government funding from us. Look, what you want to always think is if something's sort of cheap and free, there's usually a lot of restrictions. So with us, you could... If
something is cheap and free, there's normally a lot of restrictions. Yeah, he doesn't know what that means. And you can't educate someone, a grown man, about, you know, their lens on what's affordable to them and their family. Very difficult to do. And it's not understanding of where the customer's at, right? And then I think what the agent's done is moved forward into a presentation.
Literally finished the advanced diploma in 6 weeks.
So he's gone straight into a presentation. He's telling him he could finish it in 6 weeks. I don't know how that's possible.
It's self-paced, fully flexible, totally within your control. If you go to a funded provider, there will be, you will have to, stay on for the entire duration of the course, which is 12 months. Most of them have classes.
Yeah, so the customer's confused right now. I can just tell, because I'm confused.
But there's also a lot of restrictions and negativity attached to it as well. That's why we sort of try to...
So what he's trying to do is persuade. He's using persuasion or convincing a customer that their budget is not important. He's missed the point. Like, it's really not about the funding. They just asked a question as a fund. You said, no, it's not. And then you move into the objection about, okay, let's talk about affordability here. I want to talk about cost and payment options. So you bring that forward in the pitch because you need to overcome that obstacle now before you can move forward and waste any time. Waste the customer's time, waste your time, right? So that's being done the wrong way.
Like payment options that work for pretty much everyone.
Payment options that pretty much work for everyone. Well, that doesn't say anything in the script about payment options that pretty much work for everybody. A lot of ambiguity with that statement. Again, there's no precision, there's no conviction. It's just a bit messy.
So it's not for how many months?
Now he's sort of told him how long it lasted, but he's asking the question again. So we've got a customer who's not understanding what's been said to him at all, because the agent hasn't understood or listened to the customer about what they're looking to achieve and slowing everything down and breaking things into iterations. Like trying to close a client in 7 minutes who's from another country, English is their second language, who just asks as a government funding because they have no money, is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, it's just not in alignment with the ethos of a equitable sale, right?
Like the
Yeah, so that,
durations?
are you talking about the course itself?
Oh. Yeah.
Yep, so the course itself, it's 10 units to complete with a maximum time frame of 12 months. Now, as I mentioned, that's the maximum, so we don't have a...
See what happens? I don't know if you heard that. The customer asks a question, this is what the agent does, they keep talking. Like, so if the customer said in this instance, how long is the course? The response should be, it's 10 months. Stop talking. How easy is that? You know, how long is the course? It's 10 months. Like, how long is the course? It's 10 months. Now, I'm doing this for a reason because I'm gonna play it. Listen to this.
Yep, so the course itself is 10 units to complete with a maximum time frame of 12 months. Now, as I mentioned, that's the maximum, so we don't have a minimum. Fully self-paced, 100% online study, so there's no classroom
He's pitching now.
No sneaky Teams meetings you've got to log into twice a week. Literally, whenever you have time around your work,
Still going.
log in, pick up where you left
Still
off,
going.
and one thing I can guarantee
Still
you
going.
is it won't be as labour intensive as your civil engineering degree.
How long is the course? Well, I said 10 months before, it's actually 12. So how long is the course? 12 months. Do you have any other questions? That's it. So that's what happens when an agent doesn't know their product or doesn't know their skill or doesn't know their process or framework very well. It's all over the place for me. You know, precise, short, sharp responses, be direct, keep it at a grade 10 level, go slow. Like he's talking about delivery and all this stuff. He didn't ask you about delivery. He just asked you how long it was. Like, makes no sense. So the customer's all over the place. Now, is this a customer that will purchase something? Yeah, I think it is. Even though they asked about funding, I think they probably have a budget. And what I could do is extrapolate out a career plan for them across the next 12 months, right? And really help this guy. I could really help this guy.
Oh, that's great. So could you tell me a little bit information about this course details so I can go through these things? And
By the way, I never send information. You guys can send information. I don't do it. Why do I need to send you information? When someone says to me, can you send me all the information and I'll come back to you? Like, nah, I never do that. I normally say to them, I don't send information. I've got you on the call. What do you need to know? I'm a little bit like that though. I'm pretty assertive when it comes to information. What I do is I book up a call. I book in a call, and I'll pivot them to another appointment.
make it clear.
By the way, I've made a determination that this guy here is probably 30 days with 4 conversations. 30 days with 4 conversations. And I'll slowly build a plan and a solution for him and his family.
And also manage my budget as well.
Yeah, 100%. Did you say run it through now or send it off to you?
Yeah, it would be good if you could be able to send it to my email so I could read it.
I'll just double check your email. So it's
Don't double check the email. Why do you double check the email? If you have a CRS system where they're applying and it comes through and you can see in the activity feed that they've received the email that you've sent to them and the system's pinged it, you don't need to ask them for the email. People will go and ask them for the email because it's easy and that's what everyone does. But if you're in control of the call, you really don't need to do that because it doesn't say confirm their details. Well, you got their number right because you called them on it. You could say, I've got an email address here, it's a Gmail account. Is there another email account you'd like me to forward it to? Then you get 2 emails from them, right? Or, hey, look, I can send all the information through. Do you have a work email account? And maybe I'll CC that in as well, just in case it bounces or goes into a spam folder. So at least you're trying to get a bit of leverage on that. You're getting it to 2 email accounts. You might get a domain name where you can see what the company is. So you can go have a look at the company, a whole bunch of things, right? So you've got to be a little bit more strategic about how you navigate the exit of a call.
Your first name and then woonhakimi5@gmail.com.
Yep.
That's not confirming an email address, by the way. You got to do it phonetically if you're going to check an email address. Like, you have to.
Sweet. So I'll wrap up a whole bunch of information around the advanced deployer. Put the payment options in there as well. And once you have some questions, mate, shoot me a text, give me a call back, mate. Happy to run through them.
Okay, so the agent just gave up right at the end there. Yeah, which is a shame because I think we could really help this guy. And what the agent's done is, mate, I'll give you all the information that you want, including all the prices. And if you're interested, mate, just come back to me. Send me a text. Yay, send me a text. Send me a text, buddy. Like, man, that's just not great. Our sales team are trained never to do that. So I don't know why this has occurred. So we'll have to talk to the agent about this one. But, don't leave the call without a booked appointment and agenda for that appointment, right? Because what should have happened is, hey, listen, here's what I'd like to do. I'll send you all the information. I'm not going to send you the prices yet. What I'd like to do on the next call is talk to you about and break down what we can figure out that's affordable for your budget, right? I think that's really important that we do that. By the way, I guarantee that I can find a price point to suit your budget right now. So I don't want you to worry about that. So read through all the information about the course. If you could write down any questions you've got, that'll be great. And I can address those questions on the next call. So see, I'm getting the customer to listen to me and follow my advice because I'm advising them on how I can help them. So I become their consultant, right? Their business consultant, pretty much. Like, we help people find job opportunities, increase their income. We help construction entrepreneurs start companies, man. That's what we do, right? So we've got to really hone in on what your service level or service delivery or SLA is, right, to your customer. So once I've done that to my customer, I say, great, here's what I want to do. I want to speak to you tomorrow or the next day, right? You can pick the day. Don't leave it for more than 48 hours. If you leave it for more than 48 hours, your conversion rate drops considerably. If it's 24 hours, it's high. If it's 48, it's a little bit lower, but not by much if you look at the data. And if it's on the third day, the data tells us that it drops considerably. You want to pick a time that's convenient to them, because it is their schedule. And you want to set them some homework. So I would go, I want you to read through the information. Would your wife be involved in the decision? So now you're getting some information about their decision-making process. He goes yes or no. If it's yes, you'd say, great, we'll sit down with your wife. Could you do that tonight? He goes, yes, great. Look, it's only 10 minutes. Have a read through the information. Think about the sorts of jobs you'd like to apply for. And on a call tomorrow, I can give you some information about careers, jobs, and salaries. And I'm pretty confident I can find a price point that will suit the family budget. How does that sound? Great. This is what this guy did.
I'll wrap up a whole bunch of information around the advanced deployer. Put the payment options in there as well. And once you have some questions, mate, shoot me a text, give me a call back, mate. Happy to run through them.
That's it. So there's no structure to that. You're basically just giving up on the sale and helping this guy, and it's all done. I'm going to move on to my next thing. By the way, that lead probably cost us, $75 to get that into the CRM, plus the cost of the agent, the seat, and all that sort of stuff, right? So if you think about it, we just burnt that. When I say burnt, I mean we burnt the opportunity, we burnt the revenue it cost to raise that, we burnt that time it took to build the campaign, and all that sort of stuff's just gone in the bin, right? So there's a little bit of lack of discipline, there's a little bit of lack of structure, a little bit of lack of framework, and an understanding that our narrative should be to support our clients and help them, whatever it takes, right? Because that's where the money is for everybody, including the customer, right? Let's see how the exit goes.
All right, mate. Well, I do appreciate your time, and have a good one. Chat soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too, mate. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so the call went for 7 minutes and 57 seconds. The customer was confused, the framework wasn't followed, I thought the tonality was off, They weren't following the script, so they've gone off script. There was no structure to the call. We didn't speak about how we could help the customer. We didn't book a follow-up appointment for the customer. We didn't talk about price and payment options with the customer. We didn't do a discovery with the customer. We didn't set an agenda with the customer. And we didn't move them forward to a position where we could help them, which is all in this document, by the way, which is, again, version 97. It's interesting to break down a call. So if you're a sales manager and you're working with a sales team, if you're an agent and you're inside a sales team, you have to understand that you have to operate in alignment with framework and strategy, right? You have to listen to your calls, critique yourself, be hard on yourself. Because when an agent comes to me and says, oh, the leads are no good, and then I listen to the call, not once, maybe once in 1,000, the lead was bad. But you have to have the right psychology and mindset around it. I can help anyone as long as they're in a position to be helped, whether they have the money or not. Like, for example, if this program is an expensive program, it's okay. He doesn't have $8K. The customer does not have $8,000. I could put him on a payment plan for $40 a week, sure, but he probably doesn't even have that. So what I'll do is I'll do one thing for him, right? I'll sell him a really cheap program for $99, right? And I'll get him started, and I'll get him to put it on his resume. I might even say, send me your resume, let me have a look at it, and I'll give you a few tips that I think how you could improve it. And then I'll email you an article to read about how to get a job in construction, which we have. And then I'll get you to do one course that'll take you an hour, and I'll charge you $99 for it, and I'll split the payment over 4 weeks so you can afford it. And then you're gonna come back to me, and I'm gonna check in with you to see how you went, right? Did you find a job? How did the resume go? Because that is the vibe of a healthy sales agent, how you build successful pipeline, how you get referrals out of people, how you can help communities, how you can help people win, right? And you should never judge a book by its cover, ever. You know what I mean? So, because, everybody's a customer. So a lot went wrong on that call. I hope that helped, right? For sales managers watching this and for sales agents watching this, you got to be super critical about the call if you're an outbound call team, because all you have is the call. Coach the call, focus on the call, listen to the call, critique the call, practice the script, do role plays over and over, run around circles. Like, there's one thing I know is that historically, when an agent is not making money, it's because they're off this document. When you pull them back on it, everything goes up and to the right. It happens all the time. It's canny. Who says canny? It's weird that happens, but it's so common. It's so goddamn common. It's crazy. So look, that was a breakdown of one call for one of our companies, for one of our products. He's a bit of a tough customer, not because he's personally tough, but because he's just in a situation where a high ticket item to someone who doesn't have the funding to buy that high ticket item, it doesn't mean that we couldn't sell them a very cheap thing, bring them into our funnel, because he's going to get a job eventually, earning more money, and then they become a client long term, right? So if you look at lifetime value, I want to sell 3 or 4 products over 3 or 4 years to one customer, and we've got too many people walking around getting leads, calling, trying to sell one thing and then moving to the next thing, like burning that lead and just going to the next thing, burning that lead and going to the next thing. So if you're a sales manager giving leads to an agent, you've really got to manage the flow of that, right? And put some temperament and some KPIs around it, and some conversion rates, more importantly. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll just burn leads and leads and leads. You'll burn thousands and thousands of leads every year because the agent's not structuring the call very well and they've gone off track. So you have to be on point with that. I hope that helps. I think it's pretty critical for everyone in a sales organization, and most organizations will have a sales team. We're going to break this down into a fact sheet, a PDF. So if you click on the link and go through, you can download that for free. So we hope that helps. Any questions, just DM us and we'll come back to you. But thank you for joining. Do appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode.